Mr. Dan Patlansky.
How are you, man?
How are you, man?
Excellent, Jay.
Yeah, good to see you, man. I'm so honored to have you in the workshop today.
It's good to be back here, man. It really is. It's always a good place to be for me.
Yeah, well, you know, when you come in here, it's always an honor. So,
thank
thanks
you,
for
really
that.
appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, so this jam jar is actually about you. And I just want to, tell the world and for you to explain what you are about and what you do.
Well, for me, I've always been, my first love in music has been the blues. You know, I love a lot of other things too. I love rock and roll, I love jazz, I love country, I love a lot of other types of music, but blues has always been the common thread that's run through everything my entire life. So everything I've ever written or done or played, it's always been rooted in the blues. So that's my first love, and everything stems from that. And I see myself nowadays as a modern blues player or a blues rock player.
Yes.
Not necessarily as traditional as I used to be. As much as I love that stuff still, it's in a slightly different direction now. But it's my passion, it's my life, it really is. It gets me up in the morning, the guitar. The blues gets me up in the morning. Learning new things on the guitar gets me up in the morning. Expressing through the guitar gets me up in the morning. So it's a massive, massive part of my life.
Sure, that's amazing. Well, you've done incredibly well with it, and as far as I know, you've been at it starting your first band at age 16,
right?
And you started your inspirations with Stevie Ray Vaughan and Pink Floyd.
Sure.
Tell me about your inspirations.
So all my inspirations came from my parents and their vast album collection. Okay. They had everything, from the classic rock, blues, jazz, funk, soul, you name it.
Yeah.
But there was obviously a couple that really stood out to me, and Eric Clapton was one, Pink Floyd was a massive one, still a massive fan. Stevie Ray Vaughan, probably the biggest influence on me. Hendrix, Oscar Peterson, the jazz pianist, Jaco Pastorius. There's such quite a wide host of influences.
Yes,
it's not just blues guitar players and not just guitarists. And that's what I grew up listening to. If I went on holiday in the car with the family, that's what was playing in the car. On a Sunday afternoon when we were having a braai, that's what was playing. So my parents listened to music constantly, so it was kind of hard not to fall in love with it.
Yeah, so you've come from a rich cultural musical background.
Sure, definitely.
That's I think what makes all the difference.
It does, very lucky to have.
Yeah, your understanding has just, it's worlds apart from someone like myself, maybe.
Really?
So, what are your latest projects? And I know that you've toured America a few times. You've been voted 4th best guitarist in the world, actually, by the Guitar Magazine.
Yeah. It was back in 2015, Total Guitar Magazine. And obviously, as a guitar player, and as guitar players out there, you got to take everything with a pinch of salt, because there's no such thing as the 4th best guitar player in the world. But what it meant was, and why it meant so much to me, is it was voted by the readers of Total Guitar Magazine, which meant we were doing something right in Europe at that point, right?
Yes,
we were doing something right just to even made that list from the readers.
Turning heads.
Yeah. So that's why it was just such a cool thing to get an accolade like that. And obviously we spent a lot of time in Europe and the UK. We head back there soon. So that's pretty much the projects coming up now. We continue touring Perfection Kills, the new album, in Europe, and for the whole of November. And then when we return, then we do my annual guitar weekends.
And your guitar weekends are amazing, hey? Being at one of them, I can say, it's such a personal vibe to get to enjoy this passion of guitar with you, for you to share some tips and tricks. All that I felt without this feeling that I suck at guitar, that I can relate to you and kind of share this passion for guitar.
Well, that's what it's about. And for me, JD, it's one of my highlights of my year, because I always say this: I get to hang out with 30 people with the exact same passion and love that I have, and that's playing the guitar and everything associated with guitars, to the strings, to the frets, to the setups, to the pedals on the floor, to the amps, to the licks, to the improvising, and we go through everything, obviously. And that for me is why it's such a passion project for me, is because I get to chat to 30 like-minded people.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Dan, what is your feeling when you hit the stage internationally? You know, you playing at the venues where the greats have been.
Sure.
What is that feeling?
It's often intimidation, to be honest, you know, because, you know, like the big guys have played on all these stages, and the big guys who are still alive today are playing on some of these stages. So it kind of can mess with your head a bit, because, you know, you kind of freak out a bit, and all you really got to do is just do what you do and just play your set, you know, and play what you play. But sometimes that's a lot harder, easier said than done, because sometimes you let your head get in your way. So it's a very daunting thing sometimes, and I find the more I do it, the easier it becomes, because you realize it's just a venue, it's just an audience. Right. Yeah, it's just another country. There's no massive difference, and the thing is, it's just about, you know, playing the best you can on every single night. Yeah, you're up there, and trying to get that consistency. And for me, that's and when I say consistency, yes, and it's with the brain. It's the mindset of consistency, and that for me is the toughest thing about, you know, being a professional musician and a touring musician is keeping your head in check.
Of course,
yeah.
Of course. And now relating to the question, and a little bit more locally,
yeah,
what is your feeling about the South African music industry in your experience?
You want the honest answer?
Tell me the truth. Yeah.
I think the South African music industry, and this is just the way I'm experiencing it, has never been in a more difficult place. Is it because we don't have talent? Definitely not. We got talent in abundance in South Africa. We've got great musicians, great players, great singers, great songwriters. That's never been in question in South Africa. It's very, very difficult, and I'm sure a lot of people agree with me, to make a living out there. You know, it's hard. It's tough to sell tickets. And because I find that there isn't this live music culture in South Africa like there is in Europe and abroad.
Yes.
Where going to see live music, whatever type of live music it is part of growing your youth and growing up. It's what you do, is you go see live music. Here, it doesn't seem to be as part of South African culture to go see a live band as it does overseas, and, you know, I'm not quite sure why, but that for me is, I feel that's happening currently in the South African music industry, and I really hope it changes. I think it's just possibly on a little bit of a low
dip that's about to shift up.
Hopefully it'll shift up soon. I think everything goes in things, but I just think it's not in the greatest state at the moment.
Of course. Well, you know, most people on the Jam Jar that I have this chat with,
yes,
we all share the same feeling that it is the responsibility of, you know, radio stations to also be involved in the South African music industry, not to just have an eye on the international market,
sure,
and to make everyone aware of this talent that we do have, because talent we do have in this country, and it's I think something that is now starting to get a lot more recognized, and it always goes back to this thing of, we have the internet now, and it is a lot more exposed internationally. So
without a doubt. And just after that whole rant I just did, and I want to just say this, that a South African fan, when you've got a South African fan, they're fantastic. It's a loyal fan. It's a fan that comes time and time to shows. They buy your albums, they buy your merchandise. So I can't complain about the fans. It's just about the actual industry and the culture itself that needs a bit of work.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And talking about albums, you've got an arsenal of 9 albums in as a feather in your hat. And they're all amazing. I mean, I've listened to them all, and it's really you've done some great work, Dan.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that, man.
And Perfection Kills, like it's your latest album.
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
All right, so we released that at the beginning of this year.
Yes.
That's the 9th one. On this one, I wanted to make an album that represented the live show a little bit better.
Yes.
A little bit rawer, a little bit more organic, a little bit more honest, I suppose.
Yes.
Not overproduced. So,
and this one you've produced yourself, because
yes.
I know that the latest 2, the ones before, the 2 before, you worked with Theo Kraus.
With Theo Kraus, and
wow.
Still, I mean, God, what a producer.
A huge name in the industry.
Yeah, and I love working with Theo, and he's still a very, very good friend of mine. and we'll probably work with Theo in the future again. There's no doubt about that. But the reason I went as a self-produced producer myself was I wanted a particular sound that was in my head, so I thought I'd be the best person to get that across, and I'm pretty happy with the end result. Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. I think that's beautiful, and it's all part of this whole progression of changing your style and trying different things, and that's what makes the richness of everything that you've produced.
Sure, man. That's it.
Nice, Dan. And if you had to give advice to the South African youth, what would it be?
You just got to be aware. I don't think I'm not saying don't get involved with the music, but all you got to do is you got to be aware that it's tough out there, but it's not impossible. It's not an impossible thing. And I believe, and I strongly believe in this, is that if you play what you're passionate about playing, not necessarily about what makes you money, you've got a far better chance of being successful at that. Because I believe the public can see right through when you're doing something just for the money. So in other words, I believe that Justin Bieber is successful at what he does. Because I'm not a Justin Bieber fan, right? But I believe he's successful at what he does because he loves what he does.
Yes.
It's simple. He loves whatever he does, the music he plays. He loves that.
He's not trying to be someone else.
That's what he likes, right? And that's why he's successful in it, right? And then if you look at, all the big guys in my world, in the blues world, like Joe Bonamassa, who's the biggest guy in this genre at the moment, he's successful for one reason, besides being brilliant. But there's lots of brilliant people out there. It's because he is passionate about what he plays. He's not fake. He plays what he loves. So for me, if you stay true to what you believe in and what you are passionate about, you've got a far better chance of making it in this incredibly hard industry, because the passion will keep you coming back. It'll keep you practicing. It'll keep you coming back after many, many, many heartbreaks in the industry. And that for me is the key. Is staying true to yourself.
To walk the extra mile because you love it.
That's it.
Yeah, nice, Dan.
Sure.
That was good. Yeah, that's some
Cool.
good advice. Thank you. So my last question to you is, what flavor are you going to add to the jam jar
Today,
yeah?
I'm gonna add passion.
Nice. I like that. That always helps, eh?
Okay, must I get involved here? Huh?
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, cool.
Take a bit of that.
A bit of passion there.
Get that up here.
Thank you, Dan.
No problems.
Okay, so passion in the jam jar.
That's it.
Fantastic. I can taste it.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. It's
Anytime.
awesome to have a chit chat with you.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And I look forward to coming to many more of your shows, to your guitar weekend, and to listening to your music out there.
Cheers, JD. Appreciate it, bud.
Nice, Dan. Thank
Cool,
you.
bye.